before we get into the peace plan and President Trump and whatnot, talk us through the current situation on the ground in Ukraine.
Sam, so good to be here in the studio. Thank you so much for having me. When I was living in Ukraine, we had electricity for maybe 4 to 5 hours a day in Kiev, because our energy system is almost completely destroyed, and right now we have to really carefully use it not to get to a total blackout. And if there will be more attacks on Kiev, on other cities, we can face that total blackout, and it's really devastating. After every night attack, we do not know if electricity will ever come back. And if there is one thing that is much, much worse than sitting in a bomb shelter, is to be sitting in the bomb shelter with no electricity, no heating, and not knowing when it's gonna end. So the situation is really tough. People are indeed very much exhausted. However, people are not ready to capitulate, that's for sure. And I haven't heard or seen anyone who would say, well, just give Putin what he wants. Because we already have paid such an ultimate price to be where we are right now. And if you think about it, if we didn't choose to capitulate in 2022, when the situation was much worse and Putin's forces were surrounding Kiev, then we wouldn't choose to capitulate right now, when we are not alone and when it is dire, it is hard, but we still have it in ourselves to fight, and people continue fighting and supporting our army and standing together for our nation to survive, for our state to survive, and for us to have one of the most important goals, is so this war will not have to be fought by our children. This is what everybody's thinking about, of how to make sure that it ends on us. And I do not think any of the great leaders right now is giving the solution to how to make sure that the war would not be repeating itself.
Interesting. And talking about not giving up, I mean, despite the military losses, still, renewed drone attacks on Russia by Ukraine.
Well, we are trying to do our part and bite back. Because that's the only way of how, in this David versus Goliath situation, we can fight back and usually attack Russia's oil refineries to stop them from making money and trying to decrease their capacity on the military side. So the history will judge on how effective we are, but I'm sure everyone who can see our special operations are usually amazed of what we can do and how creative our military can be with the limited resources, but the access to the innovative technologies that we develop to attack our enemy in stopping him, in killing us.
Can we talk about the meeting taking place in Paris this weekend to try and further these peace talk negotiations? Where are we, or where is Ukraine on this? Because there are some parts of it which are just seemingly non-negotiable concerning surrendering of territory.
I think over the last, 6 months, we have heard so many things about different peace plans, about different proposals. However, everybody's trying to dance around the complicated question that is not answered. And the question is, who or what will make sure that Putin would not attack us again? Yeah. There is no solution to that we have heard just yet. We have heard some things about security guarantees from the United States, but I don't think that any of that is finalized. And other than that, what these discussions are about, we do not see that President Trump, who is leading these attempts to negotiate something, we do not see that he has gotten anything from Putin. So I seriously...
And he might not even go to the peace talks.
Yeah, so this is how does he think that Putin will stop? He was trying to get him to, as a small thing, as a ceasefire, a first thing, and Putin refused to do that. So why one would think that there would be any deal that Putin will take if he does not have any incentive to stop? He has planned for the winter campaign. He is attacking us. He is still profiting from selling gas and oil here and there. And he he is trying to evade sanctions from the United States, and President Trump is unfortunately allowing him to do that because he keeps threatening and not executing on the threat. And this is the worst thing you can do with a dictator. Show him that you don't mean business.
Yeah, not credible in your threats. But what I'm hearing from you is that the real sticking point is the security guarantees. Could you see Ukraine offering up some of the territory, provided there were security guarantees?
I haven't seen or heard anyone who would say that this is a good idea. Plus, I do not know how that would be done from the legislative or organizational part of the thing.
There's talk of it being perhaps a demilitarized zone, a free economic zone. I don't know what that means in practice.
Nobody knows what it means, and this is why this is so painful. This is not like some virtual zone. It's a place where people live, where they have their homes, their households, their kids go to school. Now it is some gray demilitarized zone that is a free economic zone where the Russian forces are standing right a couple kilometers away and promise that they would not attack. It doesn't seem to be a workable solution just yet. Maybe there will be more details that will explain how that actually would work. But as of right now, none of that is making sense for us. And the question is again, even if there is some demilitarized zone, who is making sure what's going on there? How many countries are doing that? How many people are doing that? We right now have a huge front line with Russia, and there would be an enormous amount of people needed to actually monitor what's happening there. Nobody's discussing that. Everybody's talking about Ukraine giving up land.
And well, if President Zelensky were to put this to a referendum, there has been talk of that. From what you said earlier, nobody would vote for that.
I do not see people voting for that. And to have a referendum, we have to have, again, a ceasefire, a peace deal, and then to be able to gather people to vote for it. And for that, we have to have a ceasefire. Did President Trump get Putin to a ceasefire? And why would he think that next time will be very different? So I think it's honorable attempt to bring peace deal. However, the question is again in involvement of Europe, the United Kingdom and the United States into a cohesive decision on how to protect Ukraine or work together on protecting Ukraine so that we would know that Russia would not attack us again.
You sound pretty down about your hopes for the US taking a big leading role in this. What do you want to see from European leaders? What is the most that you think that they can offer?
First, to try and replace some of the weapons and supplies that we do not continue receiving from the United States. Ramp up the military production here in Europe, not only to support Ukraine, but to be able to rely on the United States less. Perhaps creating more parity in these relations, because I think we all rely on the transatlantic collaboration a lot. And so, second point, of course, is go ahead with the confiscation of Russian assets.
That's what I was
and use them for the sake of Ukraine, but also for the sake of Europe. Because this is absolutely unfair that people from the countries that actually support us are paying out of pocket to fix what Putin broke or to invest in the military capacity of Europe because Putin decided to attack. It is just and fair goal to go ahead and confiscate Russian money and use them for the sake of defending Europe overall. And this is what we are working on, and this is why I'm here in the United Kingdom.
How confident are you that they can overcome any internal disagreements about that? I mean, the head of Euroclear has reportedly received death threats. Should this plan be put into action?
It will be obviously a very tough decision. However, I see no alternative. The amount of money we are talking is huge, and it's not only about like financial side. It's also about showing the whole world that you cannot just start a full-scale invasion in the middle of Europe, commit all kinds of the war crimes, and then just hope that your money will be intact and that you will be having a hope to use them at some point. And I think everybody on a political level agrees that it needs to be done. However, there is a legal and organizational question. Obviously, we want Belgium to feel secure in the matter, that Russia will never sue them or will try to retaliate in any way. So there are legal and economic way of making sure that this was, yes.
Now you're over in the UK. It's no small feat for you to get here, is it? You were telling me about your 9-hour drive to Poland. How much support do you feel, how steadfast do you feel the support is from the UK government when you come and visit the leaders here?
I will tell you, so I have this thing that I do every time that I'm here in the UK. I go towards number 10 to check if Ukrainian flag is still there. And it still is, and it's still hovering. And this is what I will bring back home to all the military and to all the people who want to ask if they still have the support of the people in the other countries. And here in Britain, I feel it more than anywhere else. Because you most of all know what we are going through. You know what it is to fight for your freedom, and there are some things that are not negotiable. And for that, I'm so, so, so grateful.
Well, we're very grateful that you've come in to speak to us and to give us the Ukrainian perspective on what it's like to be living through years of this war. Kira, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.